I guess we should talk about the new armadas then, shouldn't we? Well, here's the event for those. You have the events right here to go kill armadas. There's also an individual, this is a server milestone, right? Spend directives, kill these things, get points, and your server will get these credits and things. There's also an SLB to kill these things, doing damage to them. And you get bonus points if you use specific officers. Gwen, Jess, Janeway, Khan, all seem like good options. Gwen and Khan seem like pretty good options. Maybe with Janeway as captain or something. Those all seem like pretty... That seems like a pretty reasonable crew to start with, if you have those officers. And then there is a heroic one if you want to spend a bunch of directives. Is this like a Kobayashi? No, it's not even a Kobayashi. There's just a... Okay, so spending a few. They gave you some from the website, right? They gave us... Now, assuming it only takes 100 to start one of these things. Has anybody... You guys have tried some of these. Does it only cost 100 to start one? So they gave you 500, so you got 5 starts. Which would then get you through a couple of these milestones and... knock out a few of those. Okay, so they're giving you a nice little head start there. Okay. So we like that. And it's only the static ones that are currently giving you points for this, so make sure you pay attention to that. It's only the static ones. So I guess those would be the ones you would start killing first. You wouldn't go for the charged ones yet. All right. So let's think about this. So what would we want crew-wise? We would want... I have Gwen, right? Yeah. Gwen would seem like would be a good addition. Increases Cascade, because these things are considered invading entities, right? So... Depends which token you got for the day. Well, that's interesting. And because I do want morale, and I don't have enough underdeck slots, and my Harry Kim stinks, 30%. All right, let's put Harry Kim. Oh. Let's do this. Let's move Khan there. And let's put Harry Kim there. And actually, do I get a 4th slot at 30? I do, so we're just going to finish that up real quick. And a 4th below deck officer. Do I just want the doctor there for extra loot? That would seem reasonable. So you have to figure out which one you got assigned first. All right, well, I guess we'll figure that out in a second here. Let's claim our refineries. And then I have to go figure out which one I got and where. I don't have Vial yet. I did not unlock that officer, I don't think. You just check your events. The events tab up here, being a different color, they've done that for other specific things in the past. Usually it's when things are time limited and they kind of want to make you aware of the fact that it's time limited. They highlight it in a different color. All right, so we go to my Krenim tab. This is where I can find out. I have static. So I have to kill the static ones. Which is what we said before. So, okay, perfect. So then I would come in here to my faction store. I would go to my DTI, which, by the way, gives me a little bit of PTSD because being what I do for a living for my day job, I work with the acronym DTI all day. It stands for debt to income ratio, which is what I look at on every loan application I look at. So all day I'm looking at DTI and listening to that video and hearing them talk about the DTI headquarters and whatnot. It was just like, oh God, I can't get away from it. Even when I'm playing a game for fun, I can't get away from DTI. So then I would cash in my 1 token and I would get this exocomp active. And I would use this to disable their abilities. Now, is that an exocomp that I have to have active before I leave my dock? Buff lasts 21 minutes. Well, that's god-awful. I guess I should figure out where I'm going first then, huh? So this is the new systems, which are up in the Voyager section. They are spun off of here. Let's go map out some systems first. Booty says you could not kill them without the exo buff. That's the whole point. That is the whole point, is that you are only supposed to be able to do this mechanic using the new, you know, loop and whatnot and the new currencies. Otherwise, people would just ignore this whole faction, you know, fraction of the loop and whatnot. Good system graphics. So we've got charged ones, we've got static ones. They start off at about 500 million power. Increase isolytic damage each round if a charged state effect is not present. So that's what you need the exocomp for, so they don't scale up all their damage and basically kick the crap out of you. And the battle only lasts 50 rounds, so you have to kill it fairly quickly in order to be successful. And there are a variety of systems in here, probably all with the same couple of 42s, couple of 44s, and 46s and whatnot. Strange Tamer says there is a regional SLB for Krenim damage starting tomorrow. Of course there is. Because why would they put out a new thing today and then not have an event that requires you to kill it starting tomorrow? Because they know everyone's going to burn through all their directives today and then have to go buy more. Of course there would be. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I'm sure the calendar's been posted. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm sure the calendar's been posted, right? Year of Hell, Part 1. Hey, look, there's a calendar. What do we got? Battle Pass, Battle Pass. Dock materials, all of these Janeway Chakotay challenges. Basically, if you do all these, you get like an officer pull for shards. So here's your spending your directives, 7 through the 10th, 7 through the 10th. And then, yes, 8th through the 10th, there's a 2-day regional SLB to do damage. So you may not want to do any of these on day 1 if you haven't already started, and you might just want to hold off and wait till tomorrow. But of course, if you hold off and wait till tomorrow, then you won't be able to do the event to upgrade the building because that expires in 17 hours. See what they did there, didn't you? Because this expires in 17 hours. So if you want to get through the events and get some currency so you can do some refinery pulls to try and move this along and upgrade the building, well, now you're going to have to miss out on that event tomorrow. Now, I'm sure the regional SLB, the brackets are going to be pretty stacked anyway. 44s are up to 750 million power. Okay. What are we looking at for 46s here? Now, those of you who killed these things already, what level ship and stuff were you using? And how big did you go? Savage says kill the 52s. And I need to bring 2 ships. See, that's something else too. These are solo armadas, right? So you need multiple ships? Is that what it is? These aren't just like 1 ship solos? Not seeing any new hostiles though, huh? Not seeing any new hostiles. Nevin was doing 60s with his Ent D and his Sompek with all the buffs. Rev pulled off 52s earlier, Agonor says, so I could probably go higher. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to bring some stuff. The 52s here, these are 13 billion power. Okay. Jakers Gray is level 56. He killed 10 level 56 armadas using all the boosts. All right. So we're going to need a Titan with, what, a max fortify? That sounds like a good one. And I guess we could bring a Cerritos. Because why not? Rev used Lorca's Fist. Oh, don't forget to turn that on, huh? The Defiant, the Max Titan buff, and he killed a 52 with his Vorcha. But his Vorcha's tiered up pretty high. I think it's like 250 million power or something like that, isn't it? He's got that Vorcha tiered up pretty good. And Cerritos and stuff. Yeah, so okay, so he's got that pretty well up there. So we're not going to do this. Let's if I need. Now these are, Oh, I do have IL. Would you look at that? I must have just unlocked her in the last arc. So we'd want to do that. Yeah, so these things aren't armadas. Armada stuff not gonna work. That's why like Cisco and stuff doesn't work. But Lorca should just work, right? Just gives the opponent a hull breach. Yeah, invading entities. 5-con Lorca. Tolra with Burr. Okay. Yeah. Torres is on the other ship. I know I'm overkilling it a little bit with maybe some of the below deck abilities, but with Lorca, but better safe than sorry. Mimi says, your teammate who was running a Sanctus and a Tier 11 cube, 54s were easy and the 56s were a bit of a stretch. Okay. So we've got 54s and 56s in the same system here, right? Okay. So I guess this is the system we're going to start in. Let's go back. I gotta make sure everybody can reach too, I guess, right? I would think that they could. And I mean, well, it's a combat exo, so I don't want to waste a slot on one of those damage buffs or anything like that, so. Breaker's got a Tier 5 Enterprise D and a Tier 8 Sanctus. You killed the 56s with no boost. You max fortified and Cerritos up and were able to take down 58s. No, I'm not using the Protector. I was just using that to map out the systems. Because it's, you know, high impulse speed, warp speed. We're swapping that now for the Cerritos. Okay, so first things first for taking on these new hostiles. Now we figured out at least where we want to start. We're going up against the static ones. Use on Krennic static invading entities to disable their abilities. So this is what I'm going to activate. And let's turn that sucker on. It didn't actually turn it on. It just added it to my inventory. Then I have to come on down here where I can see that the duration of it is 21 minutes and 40 seconds. It's a combat exocomp, so it should be able to just be activated out in the field, which we can do. We're going to hit a static. 54 static right here. I don't know how long the timer is on these. So let's throw up our max fortify. Minute and a half. Okay, that's cool. And we'll throw a Cerritos buff on the good ship. And it is an armada size of 2 out of 2. I think I only just hit basic fortification. Oh, I did only hit basic fortification. Thank you for pointing that out. Max fortify is the one we wanted to use. I hit the wrong button. Thank you for pointing that out. Hopefully it wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but you never know, right? For doing that, we get a little bit of those access cards, which we'll worry about in a minute. So the 54 static is what we're going to fight. And depending on how this fight goes, we'll move on over and find a 56 static. There are no 56 statics, really. They're all charged. Well, that sucks. I might have to go to a different system for that one. I guess go to the other side real quick. Go look over there. Go see what else is over there. Oh, top left, 56 static. Thank you. I missed that one. I missed that one. I was seeing all these other 54s. All right, we did 73 billion damage and kicked the crap out of that. So let's go spend one more. And let's go try the 56 here. They respawn randomly. Of course, because why would you want it to make sense and have them aligned in a certain direction? We'll look at a battle log here in a second. But just to be safe, we're going to overkill this. And we're going to throw a Cerritos buff on the other ship now as well. Can I use speed ups? Yes. Am I going to? No, because I'm not going to kill them all today. I'm going to save some of these kills. But yes, you can use Armada speed ups. And move that along if you so wanted to. Does the Defiant buff work? Yeah, it would boost your damage and stuff like that too. It should. Let's see how this went. Defiant does not work because it doesn't work on those types of ships. Interesting. Okay. That one also went pretty easy on the 56s. Sanctus took a little bit more damage, but overall relatively easy, so I probably could go bigger. All right, so Defiant boosting would just be overkill, and on that wouldn't do much. You're right, because it's not a specific type of hostile that the Defiant doesn't have like a default bonus. Like the Cerritos gives you a buff and the Titan gives you a buff, even if it doesn't apply to the hostile you're killing it. The Defiant doesn't have a base one, I don't think, so. The 54, we were victorious. We got some of this loot here. Okay, 7 million of that, 7,000 of these things. Cool, plus a chest. What's in the chest? Another 8,000 of those wreckages. Nice. Looking at our battle log here, fight went 26 rounds. Okay, there's a 50 round limit, so even though we didn't take a whole lot of damage, these things have such very high hull health that, and isolytic and apex barrier defense, that even though I just smacked this thing for almost 400 billion damage, only 25 billion of it actually made it through to the hull. They mitigated a whole hell of a lot of it. And then we moved up to the 56s. And that fight went 29 rounds. And again, doing large amounts of damage here with the criticals and the extra shots and everything, but it's absorbing a good chunk of it. So even in the later rounds, let's go down here. If we jump ahead to like round, 15 or 20, when the shields, even when the shields should be weak, it's still taking a pretty good absorption there. Because it's still mitigating, it's still isolytic and apex barriering things. So even the amount that's going through the shields, like this thing is still has shield health 15, 16, 20 rounds into the fight. Because it just has so much strength. There you go. The shields are finally down here in the 20s. But again, so much mitigation up front. I mean, between the three layers of defense here, let's do the math. Why guess? 155, 704, 620 plus 274, 974, 368. I did 400, we'll call it 431 billion damage. And it blocked 293 billion. What did I say it was? 293, 873. What did I say? 431, 437? I should write this down. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just open up a second calculator. Haha. Cheat code enabled. $431. So if I divide that by 430, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 8, It mitigated 68% of the damage that I did to it every single round. That's why these fights take so long. That's a lot of mitigation between the 3 different layers of isolytic and apex barrier and standard mitigation. 68%. So, all right, let's bring it on back. Good job, everybody. Good test run. We're going to save the rest of those for tomorrow when there actually is that damage event. For starting it, I also get more of those. And then I guess for winning the fight, I get the bonus chest that has a little bit more of the static temporal wreckage in it. So there you go. So now that I've started a couple of those things, by completing the events, I do get to upgrade the building a little bit. That will give me more isolytic damage, and damage versus the Krenim will start getting upgraded a little bit. So there is some potential, ways to improve on that. And that's what we're going to work on here right now. As if we can upgrade our... That's the wrong building. That's the Nova Squad building. I guess we're upgrading our Nova Squad building first. What crews what did I use during those? So let's recap. So I had Janeway with Gwen DeMarco and Khan on my biggest ship, because I figured isolytic cascade from Gwen and crit damage from Khan seemed pretty good together. And then over here we used Tolra with her ability here to give extra shots, only at 30%, as well as Toli to lower their mitigations. Maybe he'd be better if he were higher. Or maybe I need to stack defense. Maybe this is something I need to take advantage of. Maybe I need to stack more defense on this ship to take advantage of that ability. And then Lorca there. If you don't have Gwen DeMarco, who would I swap in there instead? Good question. Because these things are invading entities, so you're limited in what you can use. I don't know, I have to look at the list again of what officers actually work. Because all the ones that pop into my head are just like, no, they don't work. No, that one doesn't work. All right, so we can upgrade this building a little bit. A couple of levels here. That's not bad right off the bat. Getting a couple of levels right out of the way. Just like that, we're already level 5. So now I've got a little bit extra isolytic defense, a little extra isolytic damage, and a nice little extra damage bonus percentage against the Krenim. No, she's not maxed. Torres is only tier 4. That's why I took Lorca as well. All right, so we got a little bit of currency, right? So now what do we exchange this for? I have the static temporal wreckage from defeating the invading entities. What do I use this stuff for? No. I don't see any place to actually turn this in. Oh, I can turn it in here for temporal credits, right? There we go. I would need 65,000 to turn it in. And I only have 49,000, so I don't even have enough to do that. All right, so what we've uncovered with this loop is you have to go out and kill multiple things to get enough to do one turn-in. If I do this turn-in for killing the armadas for my efforts, I will get 600 of the blue currency. And then that blue currency I could then use for a little bit of syndicate XP, or a little bit of reputation, or a little bit of faction credits. And that seems to be, oh, or down here perhaps any of these favors. But since you only get a limited amount, this is going to take several days of refineries pulls to earn up enough. Yeah, so far this doesn't really seem worth it. Doesn't really seem worth the trouble and the effort. I have to kill multiple armadas to get a boost in credits. Yeah, I'm sure I expected to hit higher, to hit bigger. I'm sure they're expecting me to punch up a little bit. But even if I did, even if I punched up and I could actually do the pull, I kill one or two of these things, I can only do, well, that's actually weird. A single chest pull is 65. A 4 chest pull, is that right? Is that right? Because this is double this. So this should be the 2 chest pull. Is this going to give me 4 chests? That seems a whole lot better. I was thinking to myself over here, 600. 600 doesn't really do jack. Why would I care? But if I can get 2,400, well, that would be an even more interesting option. I got to go kill some more things, I guess. But I'd have to rebuff. Well, that's a little bit better. So then I'd have 2,400. So then I can pick and choose a little more from the store here. I could get a little bit more reputation to try and move along in here. I don't think I'd want the Syndicate XP right away. And I'd have access to... Obviously, you'd want to upgrade the rep, most likely. How much time is on my exo? Couple minutes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah. Like I said, we're not going to do any more today, especially because I don't have, max fort anymore either. But this was just a good day one test, and we can do this again tomorrow night when the other event is running. But even if we're thinking about like the loop and the mechanic and all that, so these things here are rewards for leveling up the building to certain levels. Okay. If my rep was higher, I could get materials to upgrade the building faster. I could get materials to do some of this other stuff. I could get officer shards from this new group. And again, I could work on some of these favors as well. Quantum charge dispersion. Increases base damage when the opponent has the charged state. So here right off the bat, you're giving yourself an extra 500% damage when you're fighting those charged hostiles. The static ones that you've given made them charged. to negate their ability. And the temporal material scanning here is like a loot bonus. 20% loot bonus, 45% loot bonus. To again accelerate the amount of currency you're getting so you can engage in this a little bit more. Yeah, it does seem like a lot of work for not a lot of gain. And again, I'm sure this is just because it's day one and month one, and maybe they'll add some more stuff to it later. But right now, it's kind of I'm not sure why I would want to do that, other than the events that are telling me to do it, right? I've got events here that I want to score in that are telling me to run these things. But that's the only reason that I'd be doing them, is just to score in the events. And I don't know that is worth it. Why would I come back to this content next month when there are no events? Yeah, is the juice worth the squeeze? So far, it does not seem like that is the case. Now, obviously, some of you guys are saying that the holodeck missions, obviously, here, give you additional options. Additional currencies and things to work with. There are two of them. This is a lower level one. We're going to pull up, let's go to stfc.space. So we can look at the whole chain right here, right now. Missions. Academy of Paris, Part 1. Let's just pull up the whole chain. stfc.space, go look at our mission. Killing some bunch of hostiles. What do we get for it? Tom Paris shards in the first one, plus a bunch of other little stuff. Academy of Paris. Number 2 gives you a little bit of speed ups. Nothing really exciting. A couple of Bolana Torres shards, or a couple more Tom Paris shards. And that's kind of it, and you're done. The other mission chain here is called The Long Way Home. This is for players 42 and up. I would think just on that alone, it would have more to do with the new arc and the new buildings. All right, going here, doing stuff, getting Specialist 7. Step 2 gives you a couple of Janeway shards. Step 3, bunch of Harry Kim shards. Okay. Step 4 gives you a little bit more of the building upgrade in step 4. That'll get your building up a little higher. Step 5, another 7 of 9. The new 7, officer shard, as well as some speed ups. You take it to 6. Now you've got your choice between 300 more directives to run more of the armadas, or 150 security access bits to upgrade the building. So you've got the option here to get more directives to run more armadas, which, given the events, seems like the right way to go. Or more options to upgrade your building. Number 7 here. There's really nothing useful there. Mission 8, you've got a 7 of 9 and a Janeway's Pocket Watch shard, or a 7 of 9 and a Krenim Time Weapon shard in Milestone 8. And that's also looks like the end of that mission chain there. Now, typically I don't like doing these ahead of time, because there's always a syndicate event. And those usually happen a couple of days into the arc. And I know we have here in our, is it in the Year of Hell folder? Yeah. So there is a complete new missions, which does give, it's a little bit of Syndicate XP, to be honest. It's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot of Syndicate XP. This probably isn't going to tip the needle on a Syndicate XP event. So maybe that's not such a big deal.